Welcome back, Wogglers. So today we're going to be talking about review processes. What are they? Why should you set them up? And all that fun stuff. As an aside, we have switched over to the new CRM for Everyone UI. So pay attention to where the buttons are because they're not where they were in all the previous videos. All right, so let's set up an example. Why would you use a review process? Well, let's say, for example, you got your sales team in here and they're working fast. They're creating deals. They're putting in, new deal for Smith family. And then they're creating new accounts left and right, and it's account name Smith family, but they don't know what the phone number is. So they just put 00000000000 on their phone number, and they don't, the website, they're just putting in website.com because they don't know what it is. They're just trying to get the deals done, they're putting in a closing date, they're having a great time, and they're just making things left and right. Well, this is really messing you up in your company because you have all these accounts now with the same phone number that is useless. And so what you want to do is you want to catch them at the act. So you're going to create a review process on the accounts that might get created with the phone number of 00000000000. So in order to create this review process, what you're going to do is you're going to go to the setup here, not in the top right corner, but in the bottom left corner now. And then in the new UI, all of the setup menu options are going to be on the left-hand side in a scroll bar. They're not spread across. They're on a scroll. So you're going to have to scroll all the way down to underneath process management. So they're grouped in the same way. It's just instead of spread out, they're all vertical. All right, we're going to hit review processes. We're going to create a new one. Now, before we start, it's incredibly important to note, review processes only trigger on creation of a record. So if you wanted something to happen when a deal gets to a certain stage or something like that, it will not work unless whoever creates the deal decides to try and skip a few stages and jump ahead in the process, and it's created in that stage. So you're only going to want to do this in situations where you need the record to be reviewed immediately upon creation. Disclaimer, I can't think of a lot of ways this would be useful, but we're pretending here. All right, so process name is accounts, and we're going to choose the module of accounts. Accounts only has one layout, so we're going to choose the standard. If you have multiple layouts, that's also something to consider. If you have multiple layouts of accounts, and you wanted this review to happen no matter what, you would have to create multiple review processes so that if an account is created on whatever layout, it always happens. All right, so a condition to initiate the rule. So if you want this to just be applicable to all accounts ever created, then you just wouldn't put a condition here. But if you want this to be on specific account types, so if the account type is competitor, you can choose that. For us, in our situation, sales guys are just willy-nilly making accounts left and right, so we're just going to have it happen all the time. All right, so next, it's asking us which fields should be reviewed. So for us, it's phone number. Boy, is that an issue. So we're going to have that be the only field to be reviewed. You can put, I believe, up to 10 in this thing, so that's up to you. All right, and when we click continue, you get this kind of rule 1 sub-criteria. So what this is going to be doing is instead of putting the criteria on the account, you're really deciding who should be doing the reviewing. So for example, if you wanted to have accounts that are created as type competitors, you want Jim to review those. But if you have accounts that are created as type customer, you want Sally to review those. That's where you would use this sub-criteria for users. We have a small company here at Best Company Co., or whatever we called our company, and we're just going to have all the records be reviewed by one user. And now we get to choose who that user is. For us, it's going to be John. Good old John. He's good at reviewing records. All right, so for here, you could stop right here and click save. But the other things that we can do are we can configure certain actions. So for example, we can email John whenever a record is created that needs to be reviewed. We could email again when John completes his review. We could email if John completes his review and rejects the record. And we can set up an SLA escalation, which basically means that, if it's in review for X many days, then someone else would get alerted. We trust John, so we're not going to do that. And since, again, it's a small company, I'm only just going to send John an email when a record is put in for review, not necessarily upon completion or anything like that. All right, so we're going to click done. The last thing that we want to do before is we want to configure our reasons for rejection. So out of the box, it comes with this invalid entry, data insufficient, or data doesn't match. We can add more of stop using the phone number with all zeros. And that's a reason for a rejection. All right, so we're going to go ahead and click save. And now I'm going to go back to the deals record and pretend to be a moving too quickly sales guy. In order to do that, with the new CRM for everyone, you've got this little mini menu, if you will, on the left-hand side, and you got your modules, which is a lovely little figure of a file. So we're gonna go there, and that'll get us back to where we want to be. And now, here I am. I'm gonna create a new deal, and this is gonna be for the Darby family. The account, I'm gonna, make a new account. So I'm moving to it's just gonna be Darby family. And then for the phone number, it's all those zeros, and the website is website.com, because I don't care. We'll figure it out later. And then look, the record has entered review. And now I'm like, what? As the sales guy. But I'm gonna switch over to John. Now I'm John. Hi, John. And I'm going to check my jobs. Hey, there's a new record for review here. It's the Darby family record. So John's going to go in and be like, all right, what's going on? There's that 000 thing. Oh my goodness. So I go down here and there's this little comment box next to the one that I want to approve. And it asks me as John, do you want to approve the phone number with this value? And I'm going to say, no, stop using that phone number. Get a real one. And I'm going to reject it. And so now what's going to happen is I'm going to choose stop using the phone number with all the rejections and click done. The record has been rejected. All right. So now you get this lovely little delete button here in all red because it's been rejected. Okay, I'm going to switch back over to sales guy that's moving too fast. And I'm like, what happened to my account? I could have sworn that I just made it. I'm going to go over here into accounts. And then I got to go find it. Wait a minute. If I go into jobs, I can see it. I'm going to go into the Darby family one. What's wrong with it? And then it's like, rejected. Bum, bum, bum. And I can see the little red thing here. And it says, John has said, stop using that phone number, get a real one. Oh, fine. Okay, it's 207-888-2334. Send. So now I've commented on it, and I can submit it for review again. Okay, now I'm John again. Go over here and refresh. Like, okay, I got an email. What's going on? Pending for re-review. So now I can see that's the real phone number. I'm like, all right. First things first, I probably should comment back and say, actually update the field, Ulysses. Maybe I'll call him. Actually update the field, Ulysses. So, I'm Ulysses. I got that phone number. I'm like, okay, fine. but I'm not allowed to, and I can say, I'm not allowed to update it. And then John will be like, all right, fine. I'll go in here. Press the thing. And I'll approve it. So once I approve it, I'm like, all right, it's approved. Go and change it. And then Ulysses is like, great, thanks. I'll refresh my screen. And then I can go in here and I can actually change it. Let's see, what did I use? There. Now it's a real phone number. And now I can go and make my deal against this newly created legitimate account and move on with my day. So there you go. That's the very specific use case of review. I hope you have fun with it, and best of luck to you. Woggle woggle.